Why is it that we grind at our jobs so hard and play so little? The limited time off that we earn is a valuable resource that we hoard away for the things in life that we like most. PTO is all about the hobbies we do with our time off and what they do for us. Who knows? You might even find a new thing to try with your PTO. Or a sick day. Just don't tell the boss when it's a sick day. Welcome to the Paid Time Outdoors podcast.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Marcus with the Paid Time Outdoor podcast. It's been a hot minute since we recorded an episode. There's a lot going on, so I figured I would do a short one here with my squirrel friend and kind of check in with you about what's been going on and what kind of outdoorsy things we've been doing lately. So it's been about a month since our last episode, and it has been busy season between the storms rolling through southeast Iowa and public events been putting on with work. We've been really hitting it pretty good. I've been shooting some archery tournaments here and there, anywhere from, central Iowa to I've got one this upcoming weekend about 20 miles away from where I live. So between spending time with the wife and the dogs and taking care of the house and making sure everyone's healthy and happy, 3D archery season is kicked off. So 3D archery, if you don't know, is when there are foam critters with circles and rings and you get points for hitting different spots. And it's a great way to really get tuned in before the deer hunting season, get your confidence up, make sure that all of your gear is really working how you want it to. So by the time the season comes, you can really, feel confident in what you've got and make sure you're hunting with the best equipment you can to, close the deal on something. So it's the kind of the archery group in the area. It's a shooting association here in Iowa. If you're not a part of an ASA group and you're shooting bows, and I highly encourage that you do that. I shoot the Hunter 45 class, so that's distances out to 45 yards, and there are some great folks that I shoot with when I do that. Of course, it's fun to be competitive and really get your gear dialed in, but we have some awesome folks that we shoot with, anywhere from bow shop owners to guys on hunting shows to your average Joe like me. So it's pretty awesome to go out and shoot targets. You shoot about 25 targets every time you go out. You total up the scores. It's like $30 to shoot once you've got an ASA membership, and it's just a blast. Usually there's some sort of fundraiser at the end where they're selling hot dogs or burgers or something. But they start you off on a target. You go to that target, and then you all shoot in a certain order, kind of like golf, and then everyone throws an arrow out there. You score it. You move on to the next one. So it's really interesting. Sometimes there's a target at like 3 yards, makes it really fun and challenging, and makes you practice all the things that you never thought you'd need to practice. All the way out in my class to 45 yards. It's great. It gives me a chance to practice, and I'm out in the yard, making sure I'm super dialed in with my gear. And we shoot with some awesome folks. So if you're not part of an ASA group with the Archery Shooters Association, go find a local one and check that out. So I've been doing some of that. I've shot 3 of them. We're coming up on our 4th shoot this upcoming weekend. We're supposed to have some thunderstorms, so I'm not sure if I'm going to shoot it Saturday or Sunday or if they're going to cancel, but I got to get my scores in somehow. So I've been doing a little bit of that. It's also busy season at work right now. So we have summer camps that are coming up in the next couple weeks, and we do all sorts of crazy stuff. So planning for that is exciting. I'm trying to get my nature center in good shape. Well, it's not my nature center, it's the public's nature center, but I'm trying to make sure that it's in good shape for the people. I've had some turkey hunting happen also since then. So, I got a first season turkey tag here in southeast Iowa. I used it. I went out to some public ground where I had scouted some birds. I had gone out a couple days before the season and seen some birds out in the field, and decided that was my chance to find a spot to go. There's a lot of public pressure for turkeys where I am, not a ton of turkeys, and usually if there's a turkey somewhere, so do about a dozen other people. Makes it kind of tough to get in on some birds, but it can be done. And so I got a first season tag. I went out. I like it when it's nice and cool. I don't like the bugs. Like fourth season right now, the gnats are horrible. So are the mosquitoes, and then it gets warm, and it's just not really as fun for me getting swarmed by bugs and stuff. But I can tolerate it for first, second season, even third season. But I decided to hunt shotgun for turkeys this year. I've hunted turkeys with my archery gear for 3 or 4 years with very little success in the years past. So I decided this year I'm going to put that away and I'm going to focus on using the shotgun. Um, get myself a little confidence in hunting turkeys. I'm not the best turkey hunter, but I really enjoy it. So, went out, scouted some birds, found them on public where I wanted to be. I actually got permission from a guy, and he said I could come and hunt parts of his property. There was another turkey hunter that was also hunting out there, so I had to be really careful and communicate with them both, where I wanted to set up and what I wanted to do. And I had never hunted this property before, so I didn't have much of an opportunity to scout. He was lucky enough to lend me his four-wheeler, so I got to ride that in and check out the space that he owns. And I even saw a hen when I went to, an upper field at his place. And yeah, I mean, it was pretty exciting. It wasn't a tom, but I saw a hen up there, made me pretty excited for opening morning. So I found a blind of the other hunter, marked it on my mapping app I use on X, and then, checked out the trails, marked where all the trails are, and then found a field where I wanted to set up my ground blind. I have a little pop up, like, bulldog house ground blind. And I set it up in a spot wide open so whatever is around can see. There were some oaks on the fringe of this field, so there's some food there, some grass, so some bugs are there, and just kind of hoped that it would be a good turkey spot. So opening morning, I decided to go there. So woke up in the morning, uh, dark and early, if you will. Stopped by Casey's, grabbed some snacks. You got to have good snacks when you're turkey hunting. It's very important. And went out to the blind. So I was out there, got my decoy set up, and that first day is always the day where you're like situating all your stuff, making sure that your pockets are loaded the right way, making sure that like where your gear is and kind of familiarizing with everything. So day one kind of goes that way. Went out, sat there, didn't hear a single gobble. I was out from first light until about 11:30 or so. So I gave it my all in the morning. About 11 o'clock or so, we had some storms rolling through. Thunder, lightning. Like, I'm fine sitting in the rain. I don't mind sitting in the rain at all. Turkeys actually like that because the bugs come up. They get their chance to wash off and shake off. But there was some lightning coming in, so I decided it was a good chance to go home, let the dogs out, take a little nap, a little refresher, eat some lunch, gather all my stuff before I go back out in the afternoon. So I did exactly that. Came home, let the dogs out, and we got a heck of a storm. It was like blowing and the power was flickering. And I was like, man, this is a good decision to come home for the short amount of time because I was kind of questioning if my blind would even be there when I returned. And, after I was home, I was looking at the radar and the rain was about to break. And I know that about an hour after the rain is when the turkeys like to get out in the sun and shake their feathers off and kind of recollect. So I kind of did the same thing. So my plan was right at the last bit of rain, get out where I had scouted those birds, a couple days prior or the night before. Instead of hunting the private that I wasn't so familiar with and maybe ruining that other dude's hunt, I was going to go to public. And I've got a couple public spots where I'll go, and if I see a couple of vehicles in the parking lot, I'll kind of shimmy over to the next spot. And so I go to this park, and where I scouted the birds, no vehicles there. So perfect. And the field that I wanted to set up in was a little bit of a hike, so I hiked in. I bumped some deer, bumped some squirrels. Oh, buddy over here. Made my way down, and I kind of set up in the area that the birds were in when I located them. I had a Jake decoy out. I had a hen decoy out. Jake is like a young male, and a hen is a female. You only shoot the males. And had some birds come in behind me. kind of look over the shoulder, and they were real weary of my decoys. Um, I'm pretty sure that there's a big group of jakes in the area that have been beating the heck out of toms. So they were real scared of my jake decoy, and they would stay like 80 yards out from me. So I need him at like 30 to get a lethal shot. I'm sitting there and they're just going around me and around me and around me. And then finally, a real nice tom came out and they disappeared into the timber. So I'm, looking with binoculars. I'm calling them the best I can, trying to get them to commit to my decoys, but they wanted nothing to do with it. And even when they disappeared about 200 yards away, I popped up the binos to look, and I just see like this tom's red head poking out of the woods, like looking around at my decoys and just seeing what's going on with them. Eventually, the birds were chased off by a coyote, kind of ran in and pushed him into the timber, and that was my chance to pounce. So as soon as the birds were pushed into the woods, I got up from my spot. I took both my decoys, put them in my vest, grabbed my seat, and I was moving, right? So they kept moving to this corner, and I told myself, as soon as I'm out of their visual sight with my decoys, I need to move to that corner. And so that's exactly what I did. I picked up all my stuff. I booked it to this other spot. There's a lot of stuff to carry, and there's like I have a chair. I like sitting in a chair with a backrest because I was pretty much like sitting in the side of a field where there's nothing to lean against. Picked up all my stuff. I kind of hustle out and find a spot in this corner. And the only thing over there where they were going in was like one single bush in this open field. And like, you got to do what you got to do. So I put my hen decoy out only at about 20 yards and kind of tucked into this one single bush, like right behind it. I like a little chair because I get a backrest. And so I like tucked in real close, got all my stuff together, and start to get comfortable. And the next thing you know, I look down the edge of this field, and there's a mushroom hunter. Now I could tell it's a mushroom hunter. Mushroom hunters have this look to them. Um, they have a big stick usually. They've got a bag, and they are just pushing through the woods. So I see deer running out. I see, you know, this person. They're probably 400 yards away looking for mushrooms. So it's public land, so they're allowed to do that. When you're turkey hunting, it's a little disheartening because you're like, oh man, like, is he gonna scare the turkeys away? So I waited and waited and waited. Eventually, the turkey hunter, he never saw me. I was camoed up. I see him go into the woods real far away, and he's starting to kind of feed towards me. He went in real far, and eventually, when I'm sitting there, this like group of birds pops out. So it's like me, a bush, my decoy out, my one single hen out, and these birds like slowly started pecking out. And there was a group of 4 of them that came in, and as they're slowly going, they pick up on movement super easy. So they like come in and put my shotgun up real slowly, getting it nice and comfortable on my knee so I'm not there holding it and getting exhausted. And so I've got like my face covered. I've got like a gaiter I put around. I got sunglasses on. I'm camoed up. I got this resting on my knee. So all I got to do is wait for him to come in to the right distance. And since they were so skittish earlier, I decided it's probably not a good idea to give them a call. You call them. I was going to avoid calling. I figured if they see the decoy, they're going to move into the decoy as long as there's not a Jake out there in my setup. So these birds are working in slow, and I am like ever so slowly getting in position. And I'm looking at them, and they're young birds, like 5-inch beards, 6-inch beards. And they're moving in slow and slow and slow. And I look at each of them to see which one is like the biggest, the most mature. And they were all the same. They were all like bachelor birds. And so it wasn't like one of them was much older than the others. So I told myself the first bird that steps into like my shooting window, they're going to get it. So sitting there, birds are slowly coming in. They're feeding their way over, and one gets in the perfect place for me, the perfectly wrong place for them. I had a great shot, folded them up, like right next to the decoy, and it was over. So that was about, I want to say like 6 o'clock PM. And so I had hunted from like 5 a.m. to 6 p.m. So I was pretty tired. It was very exciting for me. And even after the shot went off, after I got the turkey, I looked down the edge of the field and that mushroom hunter like popped his head out of the woods like, oh shit, what's going on here? Like shots are popping off. What on earth did I get myself into? Is this, So I get out there and he kind of sees me doing something from real far away and is very curious. And, I took a couple pictures of the bird I got and was packing my stuff up. And I noticed I was like missing like a peg from my pot call. I must have dropped it in the move. I couldn't find it, but man, was that exciting for an opening day afternoon to get a bird. That's only my second bird in Iowa. So it's been pretty tough here. The population of birds where I'm at is thin. And not all the parks have turkeys on them. So hopefully, the population gets a little bit better. This year was a great year. This park is one of the only ones with birds, like I said, but I had seen like 14 or 15 birds out there leading up to the turkey season. So it's not like I'm taking the only bird off of it that lives out there. So it felt pretty darn good to hike way out, get a turkey by myself solo out on public here in Southeast Iowa, and close the deal on opening day of all the days. So threw him over the shoulder, tagged him, hiked him out of there, made it back to the car, unloading. My adrenaline is still pumping because it's so exciting when birds come in and you interact with them, and they really look like dinosaurs to me. So if you ever seen one run across a field or surprised one, they're just like Jurassic Park style shit. So got to the car, loaded up the bird, got home, and then like the cleaning process kind of starts. So I've got all this gear and I've got the bird in the trunk. And so like you get it and you register your turkey with the state. The state makes it really easy with an online system. And so I registered the bird, had a little celebration. I got a bottle of bourbon that I only drink out of when I've harvested a critter. So I poured out of that and I draw a little line on the bottle in the year and, what it is that was harvested. So I wrote Turkey, Iowa 26. Went and enjoyed that, and then butchered up the bird, breasted him out, took the legs out and skinned them. I got those in the freezer. I had 0 pellets in the breast meat, so that was really good, knowing that my shot did exactly what it was supposed to. When I patterned my shotgun, I really wanted to make sure that I was only shooting at a distance that makes sense. I know like some folks are shooting TSS rounds, which are tungsten instead of copper or lead or steel, and they can reach out to like 60 yards if they needed to, and they can take a turkey from that far. But to me, that's just, it's too far. And so I had no pellets in the meat, cleaned it up, got it in the freezer, took my time cleaning up all my gear, putting that away, and then I took the turkey fan, or like the tail, they use the tail to kind of communicate with each other, and I got that cleaned up, cleaned the meat off of it, and I got it prepped up for a turkey fan mount. So I don't have a turkey fan, a real fan on some of my decoys. I have a strutting decoy with like a printed fan, but everybody says that, at least from like the internet that I've read and seen, like the videos and stuff, everybody says that a real fan does so much better than a printed fan. So I was like, perfect. This will be my opportunity to take this fan, stick it on my decoys once it's all prepared. So fleshed it out, cleaned it up, got it spread apart, got the borax on there. I actually took a hanger, like if you buy pants at Walmart or wherever, with the clippies on the end, and I just opened it up and clipped it, and then poured the borax on and put it in the garage. So now I just sit there and I wait with that fan until it's dried out. And once it's dried out, I take some Bondo and I put that together, Bondo it so it stays in position, and then I can tuck it right in my decoy. So if I'm hunting and I want to use a full strutting decoy, I've got a real fan that I can put on it. So I'm really excited about that. And I've got some fresh turkey meat in the freezer from Iowa, first season, 2026. So super exciting. I've been up to that. Sneaking around out on public land looking for turkeys is really exciting. I've got some friends out there who have been also chasing birds hard, have had some success chasing birds. And even my turkey buddies from the first few episodes, we're going to have a call here on the next episode to talk about how the Wisconsin turkey hunt went. So, closed the deal in Iowa, got it done. I still got my piles of clothes from my Wisconsin trip all around here in the basement. I got to clean them up and put them back in the turkey bins. And it's time to switch gears. So the next thing coming up here is 3D archery season. So we'll be doing some of those shoots. You go out and shoot foam. I'll be doing that throughout summer. Summers are busy season with work, so doing a lot of work things. And we've got a really, really exciting season ahead of us for that. So on top of that, once I tuck this gear away, that means it's time for me to switch into whitetail mode. Or morning dove mode, but mostly whitetail mode. So all the practice really starts now. Shooting the bow, getting the gear dialed in, making sure I'm using everything that I really want. I like to check my stands and make sure that all the cables aren't rusted out, that all the bolts are looking good, that things are not only functional and safe, but quiet. So I've got some stealth strips, wrap those around some things and get the gear super dialed. And it's about to be that time of year to get those things together. So, whitetail season, it's not here till October 1st, but plenty to do leading up to then, and spending some of my paid time outdoors doing those things. For me, first thing I'm going to do is I've been shooting this bow every day. Keep on shooting. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing a little bit more scouting. So I need to get out into the parks, and out into the woods, out into the fields, checking out spots where I might want to set up, for deer archery hunting. I got some spots that I know are pretty good, but it's nice to get the boots on the ground and find where they've been walking. You could, find their tracks and that kind of stuff, but find where they've been really active throughout the summer. So then when it's time to put cameras out, I'm ready to go. So maybe I'll bring my squirrel friend with me, help me find some acorns, find the trees that deer are really feeding on right now. Making sure I'm familiar with the parks that I want to go to. Seeing what kind of traffic, if there's a lot of people that have been using the parks, and if there are, kind of strategizing around where the pressure is. Whitetails are right around the corner. I can't believe it. But it's May, 5 months, and we'll be out there after them. So it's about time to burn some of this winter fat too. It's real easy to sit around and eat when it's cold and nasty out. So I'm going to start putting some miles in, hiking and running, and maybe even lifting some weights, just trying to shed some of this excess weight and get ready for the season. So when it's time to drag a deer out, I'm not dying. I need to stop every 20 feet to get my breath. So that's to come here. I've got a trip in August. I'm going to Indiana, meet up with some friends, do some lake house type stuff. I've got some fishing clinics I'm running. Doing some archery events, some firearm shooting events, things of that nature. And then mixing in with that is some family time. They come in to see us, or we travel to go see some family, and help them with the things that they need some help with too, and to visit. It's nice to see folks. So that's kind of what's to come. I know this is kind of an impromptu episode, but I've been MIA turkey hunting for a few weeks here and figured it'd be a good idea to check in with what's going on in the naturehood. So, Marcus once again with the Paid Time Outdoors podcast. It is a great time to get outside. It's been cool. And if you're out now and you're continuously out, you're going to acclimate to the temperature change that we're about to hit. We're going to have temperature swings here in southeast Iowa. It was like 60 degrees of a high today. It's going to be 85 degrees of a high, 90 degrees and hotter soon. So it's time to do some outdoor work, stay acclimated, make sure we're doing things fun, mixing that in with our work life to make sure we're balanced out quite a bit, and just get after it. So, Marcus with the Paid Time Outdoor Podcast, out.